Hey everybody, it is Erin Reed from Erin Reed Makes, and today we're going to talk about a few different things. And topic of conversation right now is Creativation. So what is Creativation? Creativation is the trade show that AFCI puts on every year. It's been going on. It's had a bunch of different names. Previously to be known as Creativation, it was known as the CHA show, which a lot of people still call it that. Creativation show. They changed the name about 4 years ago when it landed in Phoenix. And so it was in Phoenix for 4 years, and I have only attended personally as it's been known as Creativation. But it has been a blast, and a lot of us crafty people get together. A lot of the designers that you know and big manufacturers go there. There is classes, there's workshops, there's a bunch of behind the scenes and dinners and events, and there's all these fun things. Plus there's also the showroom floor. And if you guys have ever watched me for the past 4 years, I have done a lot of live videos, and last year was, I think, my biggest year in terms of doing live videos from the showroom floor. I have done demos, I've done make and takes, I've taught classes there, I've done a lot of stuff. But the big thing I usually do is I walk around to all the different companies and I show you all the latest and greatest that they have coming from this particular conference. So I've got videos from Lawn Fawn. I even had a video last year from Lawn Fawn while we were in the class. I was in Wendy Vitchie's class last year, and she let me video the entire class while I sat in on her event. I've done, we did a lovely long one with Tonic last year. So every year, and I did probably like 5 or 6 different videos. The show floor was open on a Sunday, a Monday, and a Tuesday. And at this time last year, because of course Facebook would love to help remind you all the pictures that you've shown, this is when we've been there. And a lot of the designers that you know of have probably been talking about the fact that it's not happening this year. Well, it is, but in a little bit of a different kind of venue than you're normally thinking of. Oh, sorry, UPS just showed up. I'm gonna close my little curtain there. If you hear the dog barking in a couple of seconds, I'm so sorry. That means the UPS is dropping something off to the front door. So what's going on with it? A lot of people are kind of curious about what's happening with Creativation. How is it being run? I know a lot of people that had blogs or YouTube channels that were not actively members with AFCI, which I'm a member, and so were a bunch of other designers that you know, but some people weren't. And so they went to the show under another company because they were demoing with that company, or they were working with that company. And so they got a badge and were able to get on the showroom floor, and possibly they got signed up by going to classes and things through these various companies. But this year is different. And so I am on the board for the designer section of AFCI. And so I've been on some of the meetings on the back end, and I've gone to some of the town hall meetings, and I've just been watching what's going on. So I thought I'd fill you guys in for those of you who don't know yet. So this year, what they have decided to do with all of COVID and things being shut down, and just a lot of what's happening in the background. Sorry, I'm like looking at my dog who's like staring at the door going, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. And my son's very, very nicely trying to keep him calm, which is, thank you so much, Brandon. So they decided to go virtual this year. It was a hard decision. We were able to sneak in with Creativation last year because nothing really got shut down until March. There was always an inkling of things happening, and people kind of knew what was going on. We heard of what it was back in January of last year. But hi, Melanie. But there wasn't a whole lot being things weren't like they are right now. If you think back to a year ago, we weren't in that stage. So the show went on. And so then everything kind of hit the fan, and everybody, got hunker down. You have to stay home. You have to be safe, and you can't be around people. You can't fly. And this is an international show. Oh, there he goes. I knew the dog was going to bark here soon. So what happened from that point on? So they had to make the choice. And if you think back for a long time, they weren't really sure whether or not how fast we were going to reopen. How horrible was this whole COVID-19 going to be to everybody? And so over the summer, the organization decided to no longer host the show in person and to go virtual. And then they had to figure out how to do a virtual show, and in what framework would you do this? How would you do a show like this that's virtual? And some of those questions are still kind of unknown. They have a platform. Oh, he's very upset that the UPS man didn't come say hi to him. Sorry, Major. That's my puppy whining. Oh, your doggy hears what's going on. Hey, Sheena. Hi, Kim. Hello, everybody who's on. All right, so I just thought I'd fill you guys in what I know. So basically, they have a platform, and it's going to be an interactive platform. There's a lot of workshops. There's a lot of seminars. It's not the same as it has been in the past, mostly because a lot of the people that were able to come, like for instance, with my badge, because I'm a designer and that's what my badge is under, I was able to have a couple people come under me that were also designers, but they weren't members. They didn't want to pay for the membership, or they couldn't afford to pay for the membership, or they didn't meet the qualifications as a designer, and they couldn't get a badge from another company. I also ended up having badges for some of the manufacturers. So I would have a badge from Deflecto, or I would have a badge from Canvas Corps. Was one of the first years I had a badge through them, which is Seven Gypsies and Tattered Angels. I worked with them, and I had a badge because I helped a booth set up. So depending on the year that I went, I had badges from 2 or 3 different manufacturers because I was helping them on the showroom floor. So that happened a lot. Crafters Workshop was another one that I had badges for because I always demoed with them when I was there. So this year, we're not really sure how that's going to run. I know some of the companies have already reached out to me about making some videos that would be on their virtual showroom floor, because there is like booth hours. And so you could like schedule a time, but all those people that got in through other badges would not be able to walk around and be part of the conference like they have in the past. So it's a very different kind of show. This show is meant for manufacturers and buyers to meet and come together and be able to show the new products and purchase the products at the showroom floor, and then be able to have them in their stores. And this could be Michael's, Hobby Lobby, your mom and pop craft stores that are in your area. I mean, that's the point of the show. And then designers, because we help create the products for the companies and we help demo the products at the show, we're part of it as well. And then there's content creators, because these companies want to send us product, because that's a newer thing, like what I do. Hi, Ange. They send us the products to work with on our YouTube videos and our Facebook videos and our blog posts and our Instagram and all that stuff. So we all work together, in a very harmonious, lovely way. But this whole thing is turned a kink in this actual show. And for me, the show is a whole lot more than just going to the conference and doing the demos and walking the showroom floor and doing the videos. I mean, that's a big part of it, but it's also the networking. And that's the part I'm really missing. And a lot of us are really bummed out. And, the people that I get to see like once a year, Beth Kingston and Alexandra Stapleton Smith and Mitsiana Wright. I mean, I could go on with a list of different people that I love to see and, meet up with, Ken Oliver every year. We go to dinners, we go to events. And hello, hi, Rebecca. Marco, Make It by Marco was there last year. I actually did a video on their booth last year, and they have these really amazing, I think I have one. Yeah, they have these really, really cool, I hold my storage thing. They're like little containers. They're so fun. And these are the companies that I normally would never find unless I go to these shows. So it's a very different animal this year. Now, there's some perks and there's some disadvantages. I've already mentioned a couple of disadvantages. There's the no networking. You're not going to get to see all the fun pictures. If you follow any of the people that go, Tim Holtz is always there. Just people flying in from international. Justine Hoovey comes in, and Crafty Nut Shifty, and I cannot remember her name off the top of my head, but she goes. I mean, but there's international people that come from all over. So, people that you can think of, if they have a name, they're there. If they have a brand, they are usually there. And if they don't have a booth, they're usually walking around and networking and doing things. So, I mean, last year I was helping, 2 years ago, I was helping with Teresa Collins, and I was helping do her videos and helping her do stuff at the booth and just all different kind of, stuff behind the scenes. But because she had a booth that year. Last year, she chose not to. So, people have different years they choose to have booths and choose not to. And so it's very different this year because we can't all be there together. And so you guys, how does that affect you? You don't get to see one-stop shop of me walking around with my camera and videoing all the fun stuff that's going on and the behind the scenes and all the interviews with the people and the new products being launched and, doing a flyby on Simon Hurley as I'm, walking by Ranger and saying hi to, all the different people. It's just not happening because the show's not happening. And I don't know if I can actually film this year because everything's virtual. I don't know if I'm even allowed to hit record on if I wanted to have chat with one of the companies, or do they only want to talk with buyers? This is the part that we haven't been told, because I'm not a buyer, I'm a designer, but I do love to interview the companies about their new products to share it with all of you guys. And so it's so different. And I don't have a good answer for how it's going to look. But the good news is they have teamed up with another show called NAMTA, called Art Materials World. And I'm going to switch a picture because you guys might recognize the picture. There it is. So they have buddied up for the first time. Normally, the show is 2 different shows. And if you can tell, the virtual show is happening later. This is happening in March. So it's not now. They decided to push it back and combine it with another show. Let me take that off real fast. So here's me from last year. This is me demoing in the Deflecto booth. I had a blast. We had a ton of fun. And it's just, this is what booths. This is me because I got published in the Leisure Arts, a couple of different books, and it was their big launch for their diamond art. And that was my, in the background there, if you guys can see, where's my finger? Oops, right, that little t-shirt there, that's me. I made that, so cute, I love it. But there's all these kind of fun things that happen at these shows. And so for the first time ever, instead of having 2 separate shows, they've combined it, which is fabulous because you get lots of companies that do go to both shows. So for their cost purposes, this is a much cheaper way because it's 1 instead of having to do 2. So you only have to set up 1 booth. You only have to fly out those many people. You don't have to spend so much money on hotel rooms and all those kinds of things. And also there's different brands. So for instance, Golden, if you guys have ever heard of Golden Paints and all their mixed media and all that kind of stuff, and Elmer's Glue, they went to the NAMTA show, but they didn't go to Creativation. So you got some brands that only went to maybe 1 show, but not the other. So it's kind of cool they're combining it. And this is the best part. It's not just for this year. They're combining the show for 2022, and it's going to be in Orlando. So this is going to, and they're aiming, as long as all things and fingers crossed, we're going to be back in person in Orlando for 2022. And again, I believe it's going to be not March, but April this time. So it's going to get pushed back even a little bit further, which is kind of nice because January, let me tell you, my December was crazy on top of Christmas and my boys' birthdays, and then trying to get products ready and make intakes ready and demos ready and classes ready and all this stuff, which I loved going. It was fantastic. And then the boys' birthday parties and just getting everything organized. And it's just during Christmas time and it sweeps in, the kids are back to school, and then I have to fly off to the show. It was like a whirlwind. It was crazy time for me. You miss a lot of the Creativation videos. Yeah, me too. Normally I would be at the show right now. I would be walking around and doing all the videos and going to dinners and posting a ton of pictures up on Instagram and Instagram stories. And again, it's not happening this year. So, but it's kind of par for the course of what's been going on and what's been happening. This is not a new thing. This is not it's not a surprise in a lot of ways. I think every big major conference for 2020, after a certain point, again, Creativation got lucky last year because it was early enough in January that it didn't get canceled. But a lot of the other shows that happened after that did. The NAMTA show, called Art Materials World, happened in March and it got canceled. So it didn't even happen last year. So they skipped the entire year and now they're buddying up and doing virtual. So, what's going to happen? Let me see if you guys have any questions. Because of your creation videos last year, I began my card making journey. Well, see, that's kind of, yeah, I love that. I love that. I love that. So what's happening? So the show goes on. It is virtual. And sorry, my son and my dog are like wrestling in the background over here. It's kind of pretty funny. They're doing their best to try and keep quiet with the dog going, yeah. But I wanted to get this out to you because I just learned some new information. Plus it's relevant to now because we're, this is when the show would have been going on. And I keep seeing, like I said, a lot of my crafty friends are posting stuff right now because it's the time when it would be happening. So I felt like it was a promptu time to mention all this information. So it's going to be going live. There's going to be, everything's running through a platform, and I forget the name of it, but it's one that other conferences have run through. I don't know if it's going to be good or if it's going to be bad. They haven't really shown us much in terms of the meetings that we've had, of how it's going to look or kind of what the interface looks like. They have some really cool backdrops that they've dropped that we were able to use for the new conference, and some of the designers and some of the different artists that are in the industry create these amazing fun backdrops for us to use or for the companies to use. Like I said, a couple companies have reached out for me to help make videos. They're not going to be live videos. They're all recorded that companies could go in and watch and see what the products were about. But I do also know that if you have a favorite company that you were just dying to see, a lot of them are launching their own releases live right now on their channels. So hit up their YouTube, hit up their Instagram, hit up their Facebook, check out their blogs, check out their website, because a lot of them are starting to launch all their favorite new lines, which they would be doing right now anyway. At this moment. Some of them, on the other hand, might be waiting until March to do their releases. So if you're like, dude, why isn't so-and-so doing stuff? Like I know Lawn Fawn was launching their stuff, I believe, today. Will we be attendees only this year? So Creativation has only been, if you have a badge, can you get in? That's the way it's functioned. But there's been a lot of people that got in because they worked with a manufacturer, or they knew one of the buyers, like they were friends of a mom and pop. And so instead of having one pair of eyes to walk around the show and to talk and meet with people, they would bring a friend or a coworker or maybe an instructor at their store that would be able to come in, and two people would be able to walk around and just do things a little bit faster. And one person would attend a class with Ranger and Wendy Vici, and then another person would be walking the showroom floor, because sometimes things overlapped. Or sometimes there was two classes you wanted to go to at the exact same time. So it's very hard for one person to do that. So that's why sometimes buyers or mom and pop shops or so forth would bring more than one person with them to help divvy up all the things that are going on. Will you have a recap of the new item videos? I will do my best. I don't know exactly how they're releasing the new items. I'm going to do as much as I can, but I have not been privy to all the things that have happening yet, if that makes sense, because we're still 2 months away. And a lot of the companies, just a little behind the scenes, sometimes they didn't even have all their ducks in a row to launch the new product they wanted to. So they held off a year, or they did the release in the summer. Or they may have only had a spec item to show, like just a prototype to show to everybody at the show. And they're like, we haven't even started manufacturing this yet, but it's coming. And so that sometimes happens. So because it's virtual, they may decide to hold off a little bit and make a bigger to-do in 2022. It also depends on how much money that the companies are making. I mean, with all of COVID and everything that's happening, some companies are floundering, some companies are doing amazing. It depends. It's all, we're going to have to kind of wait and see. So you will be attendees only this year. That's what Marco was saying. Sorry, I read that wrong, but maybe it answered somebody else's question. There you go. I'm trying to read what I was seeing. See, Make It by Marco. They had their own booth last year, but they're choosing not to go and have a booth. Instead, they're just going to go and they're going to check things out, which is totally fine. They're still members and they can do that. So, but I don't know in what fashion I can bring you video content. I'm going to try. I will do whatever I can. I will figure things out as best as to my knowledge. And the designer section, because we end up doing demos, and usually we have a booth in the showroom floor where we also demo, and we also help a lot of the manufacturers do demos. I mean, that's kind of our job that we do every day. And there goes my phone. You grab my phone. I thought I had muted it. Just turn it off. Just turn it off. Sorry, yes, you can talk to Dad. That's fine. That's my husband calling. My son's like, can I just talk to him? Is that okay? Sorry, all the fun things you get when you're live, right? Where was I? I got so sidetracked now. So there's a lot of things that we know, but there's still so many questions. And as I know more, and I just kind of wanted to put this out because I know some of you are like, where's the Creativation videos? I've had a couple comments. I see people kind of asking questions. I've hinted on, I'm going to give some information as I know more. And I wanted to kind of put this out there for everybody because there's a lot of stuff I know, but there's a lot of stuff that I don't know. And it's because the show is still 2 months away. So I think some of the companies also don't know in what way they're going to be going to the show and in what fashion, if they even can at this point. So there's a lot of stuff. Hey, Brandon, please take care of the dog. Thank you, honey. I'm almost done. Don't worry. So it's just, there's a lot still kind of going, I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know where we're headed yet. So let me see what else. I'm new here in journaling. So when is this again and how much does it cost? Might it be a stupid question? Okay. So It is not something open to the public. This is not a show this is for buyers and manufacturers and designers and content creators. And that's what the show has always been. It usually is in January, but they have pushed it to be into March, and it's virtual now. And so only if you are a member and you have a paid membership with the organization will you be able to go. I hope that answers that question. So, and that's the way it's been from the very beginning, like I said. But previously, if you were a company and you needed extra help in the booth, or you needed somebody to help demo, they would sometimes provide that badge because they were a member. And let's say they had a 10 by 10 booth, they were able to have 5 badges. And so the people that helped set up the booth and run the booth and demo in the booth, they all needed a badge. So you may not have been a member yourself, the company was, but you got to go with the company. So there's a lot of people that got to go in that respect. So it's a little different this year because the only people that are allowed to go into the virtual event are paid members. You don't, so for a company, like maybe with Made It by Marco can help us, Rebecca, she can help us. They may only have with their company 2 people able to come into the show. You might be able to purchase a bigger package, but just as a single person coming in, and maybe that's all that's needed for just somebody coming in and viewing it. I'm not sure. So I'm not a company end because I don't own a company. It's me, and I go in as a designer, but I've used a company badge because they've given it to me. But I don't know all the ins and outs about, you know, for instance, that, oh, I'm trying to think of who is going this year off the top of my head. That's the other thing. They haven't announced all the official companies that are going. I do know it's less. I know some of the companies are just going, you know what? I don't know if this is the right thing for us. I'm not really sure. One company, they're the ones that asked me for videos. Haha. Super Tight, one of the glue companies I work with. So he's just going all by himself, but he usually does that. Sometimes he brings in a couple other people to help out, and I've gotten a badge from him because I've done stuff for him in the booth as well. But it's not, I don't know if he has to pay more because I'm not on that end, but there are a lot less going on. Now, on the flip side, there is another thing going on, and I think some of the companies are trying to decide whether or not they want to do both shows. There's another virtual show going on in concurrent, and it's happening right now. It's called the Collins Group, and it's called the Collins Event. Usually it's a conference, and last year they ran it concurrently with Creativation in the same building, so people could go to the Collins Group events, and there's workshops. So Lawn Fawn is there right now. Ranger is there right now. There's a whole list of them, Spellbinders, you name it. Think of any of the paper crafting and stamping companies. They probably have a representative there right now or virtually, and they're teaching classes with their new products. So a lot of those stamping, like Lawn Fawn and Stamperia and like a whole bunch of those companies, Spellbinders, I think Sizzix, and so all of Tim Holt's products. Teresa Collins is there. There's a few more too. They've all decided to be a part of this Collins Group show. And again, that is like, designers are not even a part of that unless you are a designer with that company doing the class, or you are a buyer and you had to be an approved buyer and you have a brick and mortar, not online either, a brick and mortar store. That's the key thing that they're looking for. So that you're not going to find these with like scrapbook.com. They're not, well, they do have a brick and mortar store because they have one in Phoenix. So they might be able to pull that one off. But some of the other online only shops, they would not be able to go. But if you have a brick and mortar store, or if you're traveling around like with Scrapbook Expo or something, they get to go to this Collins event virtually, see all the new products, put their orders in, and get things like earlier than everybody else. And last year, like I said, it was in conjunction with Creativation. They buddied up together, and this year they're apart. And this year Creativation buddied up with NAMTA. So, you know, lots of changes. People have figured out ways to do things in different, you know, and the organization needs to make money and stay afloat too. So they're trying to figure out what's best for everybody is the bottom line. So the designer section that I'm in, I am one of the board members, and we've had some meetings in the background. And so we've been working on ways to try and normally what I would have done and what they would have done is videoed or taken pictures or showed stuff from what they did at the showroom floor, their demos and their make and takes. So we're going to try and figure out a way to bring that to you guys. And so that's still in the works. That's still kind of seeing what's going to happen. But in any way capacity I possibly can, I will bring as much information to you as I possibly can. I wish I could be at the Collins Group and doing videos there and being able to share the information. But because I am not a buyer or an owner of a company, I'm not privy to do those things. So that is not me. Unfortunately, well, I don't know if I'd want to be a part of that, or a buyer that's like owning a store. I don't think I want to do that. And I do have my own little company, but not big enough to do what like Lawn Fawn does. That's not the path that I've chosen to take. I chose to be, bring the information to you guys. But for instance, like Jen Shirkus, because she works with Lawn Fawn and designs and does teaching classes, she's probably hosting the classes for Lawn Fawn right now. And so but again, it's very small groups and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully that answered a lot of your concerns and questions, and there will be more information as we get closer to the show. Hey, Tracy, and just to see what's going on. So I don't know all the answers. I don't have all the questions. I don't even know some of the questions to ask yet because not everything has been given forth. But what we do know is it's combined with NAMTA, and it's in March, and it's 100% virtual. So that is for sure what's happening with that. And only if you are a paid member of the organization will you be able to attend the virtual show. And that's where we stand right now. So if you have any questions, if you want to leave comments, if you're watching this video after this went live, I'd be happy to answer anything that I possibly can, or I might even be able to find some information out later as we get closer to the date of the show, because I do normally put videos out. So I felt that it was kind of one of those people might be like, hey, I watched all of her videos last year. What's up? And you guys might not have realized what's been going on. So here I am portraying the information. All right, so now on to some fun stuff, right? So I had a video hop last week going on with Craft World, which is a company, it's an online organization of all this kind of fun stuff. And I have a winner. So I'm going to announce my winner. And it was when I made these really, really cutie cards. So I made these adorable cards. Look, they're so cute. I love them. Here, let me flip my camera so you guys can see. So it's these cutie cards. I loved them. And so if you left a comment on here, you had a chance to win, and it was to some money out of this company called Craft Stash. And I'm going to try and, there's my mouse. And so our winner is, Owly Crafter. There is a link down in the information section. If you want to leave your comment down there, I will send your information off to the company. Just putting these up here so you guys can see. Super, super cute. I love it. All right, so that is super fun. Another fun thing, and let me pull this off real fast so you guys can see. I made this super adorable bookmark on an event, and I did this on another person's channel, and it is called Craft Roulette. It's tons of fun. And if you go leave a comment on her video with me in it, and we did this last Friday, and I am going to do a recap on this, and I'll be mentioning this more on Thursday, but if you head over, I will leave the link, but it's Craft Roulette. She's awesome. She has a new video every Friday, and it's a ton of fun. I haven't put the video link to her YouTube channel up on the video yet, but if you do, anyway, there's a chance to win a prize. So if you head over there, I'm sponsoring a prize to her channel, to my store. So if you guys want to leave a comment on there, you have a chance to win a prize to my store, a gift card. All right, I think we babbled long enough. We've done a pretty good job. I hope we covered some information and questions. Let's see if anybody else has any more questions I didn't quite answer. You got in late. So did you say there's no live Creativation for 2020 except for, correct. There is only a virtual show for Creativation 2021, and it is only for paid members, current paid members of the organization. We are working on ways to try and do things that can be brought to everybody, because we know this is a fun event. I mean, I love doing the videos, and you guys would jump on and watch the videos, and everybody would love to comment and see all the fun stuff. And I kind of basically tag you along to what I saw when I was at the show. And unfortunately, it's not in person. It has been canceled for 2021. It is only virtual, but we are in person with NAMTA, which is another art conference combo in April of 2022 in Orlando. So that is coming. So that's good news. I think that's awesome news. And I think that it's going to be a combined event, and we've had kind of this hiatus. It's going to be a big show. That's my forecast on that one. I think it's going to be a pretty awesome show in 22. So again, if you have any questions, or if you have anything you just want to know more about, or if you're like, hey, I just didn't quite get it, or I missed what you mentioned earlier, or anything along those lines, I'm happy to answer your questions. I don't know every answer, but maybe I might be able to find out from somebody and be able to pass the information on to you. So that's where we're at right now. Virtual, baby. Woohoo! And again, I don't even know how that's going to work. It's confusing, but we'll get there. Anyway, thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed to either my Facebook or my YouTube, I'm Erin Reed Makes, and I'd love to see you there. Leave comments, hearts, thumbs up, all the up above. And I will see you again live tomorrow, Wednesday, which is the 20th, big day tomorrow, inauguration. So that is coming up tomorrow, and we'll be doing some more live card making tomorrow. Probably about 4:30. That's my goal. Depends on when the kids get done with schoolwork. I wish I could be a little more specific, but we are 100% virtual here with my 3 kids in 3 separate grades. It gets a little crazy, and the dog. So now he's sleeping. Go figure. He was all crazy a second ago, and bleh. All right, stay safe, everybody. Get out there and just be creative. Get your creative juices going. It's amazing what it does for the heart, for the mind, and for the soul, and just to make you feel a little bit better. And as much fun and creativity as I can bring your way, I hope to do as often as possible. Bye, everybody.